I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, really excited about this interview because for me, the first Misfits album I ever heard was American Psycho and then Scream. So for me, you're almost like the original Misfits singer because, you know, you're the first guy I heard them. So to me, yeah, it's definitely my favorite albums and awesome to be able to talk to you because, I mean, in high school I listened to, and I still do, those two albums just all the time. So excited about the tour. What songs you got
Thank you.
planned for Australia and has it been a while since you played here?
The last time I came down there was with Marky Ramone. I think it was 2010, 2011, somewhere in that ballpark.
Mm-hmm.
But the songs that are on the set list are we're playing American Psycho. Of course, there's always Dig Up Her Bones and Crying on Saturday Night and Scream. Everybody loves to hear those songs, and I always play them. And there's a couple of other ones. I won't blow the surprise, and they might change. But so I take songs from American Psycho, Famous Monsters, and pepper them in with enough. You know, there's enough Misfit songs in there, and peppered in with my solo stuff as well to satisfy everybody.
Yeah, sure. I was listening to your album, World Turned Upside Down. It's really cool. It's, you know, a bit different from, you know,
Thank
the
you.
kind of punk rock element of the Misfits. We'll be hearing songs from the new album as well. And
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
awesome. And that album came out in 2017. Are you working on any new material at the moment?
I am. I plan to be in the studio in June of this year. Well, hopefully for a July release. I definitely need to and want to get something else out that I can work and make the rounds. And as well, I'm going to be producing videos around the songs that I put out and making some changes to the band and presenting a new, a new show up one level from the show that I'm presenting now.
Yeah. There's something I wanted to ask you about. It was kind of a pretty viral news story, maybe a month or so ago. You got cancelled from playing at a show in a festival in Edmonton. It was from sharing a Paul Joseph Watson video, and I'm a big fan of Paul Joseph Watson. I think he's hilarious. He's pretty much right about everything he says. What actually happened there? Was it really just over reposting a video? Was that all it was?
That's kind of all it was, but so there was a festival, like you said, in Edmonton, Canada, and the board of directors from that festival, after hearing from somebody that I had posted these things on my social sites, it prompted a review from the board of directors, and the festival's director, Brent Oliver, deemed my retweeting and sharing of these articles, Paul Joseph Watson, and some things that I had written in my blogs to be in violation of their community standards of inclusivity and all of these other things, and that I was a threat to all those things. So he canceled the shows and disinvited me from the festival. But most importantly, and more, I guess, profoundly, went to the media and told the media that he was doing these things and represented the reasons being because I was all of these terrible things that were related to the alt-right, which I am not, and a racist, which I am not, and all of these terrible things that I am not.
Yeah, I mean, this whole kind of social justice warrior, anti-free speech movement, it's just getting bizarre, like, lately, and Do you find it's just, it's a weird world we're living in these days?
I'm sorry, do I find what?
Do you find it's just, strange times we're living in where there's just so much, talk against free speech and, censorship, Alex Jones being censored and, other people being deplatformed?
Certainly strange times, certainly dangerous times, and most importantly, I have children, and I have a deep understanding of the triggers and the events of not too long ago. And just as an example, in World War II, it's not the only time that there was horrible authoritarianism and tyranny and mass death that came to our world. It's happening now in pockets of our planet. And so these things, these issues, these huge issues that we're talking about, not only that necessarily pertain to America, my country, but other issues that are global in their reach are important to have. But when you see little macrocosms of all of the things that I just said, oppression, authoritarianism, tyranny, brought against somebody like me for sharing some sort of media, links to a media and having no recourse, automatically being judged with no way to give my opinion and have my business affected by it and have it have a financial impact on me, as well as it having being played out in a public way. The things that were being said against me were very were big things. I was being called a racist. I was being called a white supremacist. Those things can affect an individual. And so then when you expand out from that and you see it happening in large ways, it becomes important for people to stand up and push back against those things and say, wait a second, we might be walking down a very, very dangerous, dark path, and we need to all stop some of the things that are happening and the knee-jerk reactions that are happening towards some people before things truly get out of hand. More out of hand than they are now. And by out of hand, I mean the violence that's taking place in the streets, the violence that's being planned at both sides. And the things, the ignorant things that are being said and championed by people with very large platforms, much larger than mine.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's kind of cool that in a way Alex Jones has been, talking about you quite a lot lately. He's got a giant platform even after he's been deplatformed, like 100+ radio stations. Do you appreciate, the support that he's kind of been showing after that cancellation happened?
Well, I'm continue to be, and those guys know, and those guys, I mean, InfoWars as an organization and Alex Jones as a person understand that I am very thankful for that platform. I'm very thankful for them to come to my defense, and for somebody like Alex Jones to get behind me and to encourage me is very exciting and humbling, because it's much larger. Again, these things, it's much larger than me. It's much larger than Alex Jones. And it's not a popularity thing. I'm not excited. More people are gonna, know who I am so I can become more famous. And it's not about that. It's about, like I said, the issues, the things that we're talking about. I have small children. So does Alex Jones. And we're fighting we're fighting for them, and we're fighting to make sure that this world doesn't continue to veer off into a dystopian nightmare that hardly anybody can imagine.
Yeah, it's getting crazy. I know in China now they've basically got a social credit score system, and I really hope we don't ever elect someone here that thinks it's a great idea and wants to pass it off onto us. But you never know in these crazy times.
It's being, right? Here in America, it's being debated in the halls of Congress to usher in something like that. Now, can you imagine for somebody like me who's on the other side of the coin? You know, for some people, they just go, oh, yeah, whatever, social credit score. I'm not doing anything wrong. Well, wait a second, somebody like me, and you can look all through my career now for a lot of years. If they had something like that in place, more so than they do now, I wouldn't be able to leave my house.
Definitely. I haven't even used Facebook in, like a personal Facebook in over 2 years just because I'm so worried that something might be held against me. And I even shared a Paul Joseph Watson video myself and had people I've known for like 20 years, you know, saying, oh, this is racist, this is bigotish, and, you know, all that kind of stuff.
God help us.
Definitely. I'll ask you a few more music questions, but thanks for that answer because I really appreciate it with all the stuff that's going on at the moment. I wanted to ask you, I did an interview maybe 2 years ago with Jerry Only, and this was before the Danzig reunion, and I asked if he was ever interested in performing with you again, and he said it's definitely something he'd like to think about, and would that be something that would interest you, ever playing with the Misfits again?
Of course, and I encourage both Jerry and Doyle to make it happen, especially Jerry. I've spoken to him in the recent past, and I'm all for it. Of course. Of course.
Yeah, that'd be awesome to see.
Do this.
I'm just wondering, were you a big fan of the Misfits before you joined the band?
No, I wasn't. I was more a fan of Glenn Danzig than I was the Misfits. I came into the Misfits backwards. I was a skate rat, and that was back in the days where you'd hang out and skate and people would bring mixtapes and put it on the boombox. And of course, every now and again you'd hear Skulls, you'd hear Martian, you'd hear a Misfits song. But I wouldn't call myself a fan. It was, once I found out that Glenn Danzig used to be the singer of the Misfits and it was his band, that's when I knew that, oh shit, this is serious.
Oh yeah. Have you ever met Glenn Danzig?
No, I haven't.
Oh wow.
Hopefully I'll get to meet. I'll get to meet him in the future for sure.
Yeah, I hope so. I've got to ask. When you joined the Misfits, I kind of feel that Metallica really helped at the time with the popularity, doing the covers on Garage Inc. And, you know, they'd been doing the covers for, 10 years before that. Do you think, the Metallica kind of promoting the Misfits is what kind of helped the reformation?
That certainly helped us. When we were in San Francisco the first time on the Resurrection tour, James came out and Kirk Hammett came out and came on stage and James and I sang Green Hell and we sang Last Caress together, I think.
Oh wow.
And everybody hung out, and that wasn't the only show they came to. Guys like Rob Zombie showed up in Los Angeles. Manson was around. I used to hang out with Twiggy quite often. So of course, all those guys at those times would go out and were championing us and giving me the pat on the head, saying "Good job, kid." So yeah, all those guys getting out there certainly helped us in our relevancy.
Definitely. Now, I just got to ask. I'm a big fan of Wednesday 13, and I was thinking to myself, how cool it would be if you guys did an album together. But if you would ever, do like an all-star kind of music project, what musicians would you want to play with if you could pick anyone?
I'm much more of a big rock guy. I'm looking for people that are getting excited about Van Halen, or Freddie Mercury, Queen, or again like the grittiness and the in your face rock and roll aspect of AC/DC. Those are the kind of the players that I'd be excited to play. Have me come in. Like the guys from Caius or the guys from Foo Fighters or again, like a producer like Trent Reznor or an artist like Dr. Dre. Those are the kind of artists that I get excited for.
For sure. Now, you're going to be in Australia really soon, like 7 days. After the Australian tour, have you got more dates booked for the end of this year and 2019?
Well, once I get back from Australia, I'm going to reconnect and recuperate with my family. I have small children, and so I'm going to spend time with my girl and our children, and which is really. I'm a big fan of Christmas too, so yeah, and then a short time after the holidays, I take off to go to Europe for 55 dates and 58. So the schedule is brutal, and then I come back. There's again a couple of weeks to spend with my family and do all the things I have to do business wise and all the projects and everything that I'm working on, and then I'm off on an acoustic tour, and at the end of that, I'll be in the studio for a month. At the same time, my children get out of school, and so they come up to the farm with my Lindsay and I, and we spend the summer with them, and while I go back and forth all over the world and continue to do what I do. So it's a nonstop train that continues to roll forward.
That's awesome. Well, I better wrap it up because I know you got more interviews to do, and I think I'm already a little over time. But thanks so much for taking your time out to talk with me today, and I hope you come back because I'm actually in Brisbane and I don't think I'll be able to make it to Melbourne or Sydney for a show, but I'd really love to come see one of your performances. So if you ever come back to Australia, I hope you can include Brisbane next time.
I promise, 2019 I'll be back. Next year I will be back and cover the rest of the cities that I'm not getting to this time around. For
awesome.
sure, I promise.
Yeah, well, thanks so much, Michael, for taking your time out. Being such a big fan since high school, so it's just a pleasure to be able to, talk to someone that I've looked up to for, 15 plus years.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much. The pleasure truly is all mine. I thank you for the opportunity to give my words true voice. Thank you.
Thanks very much. All right, have a great day and enjoy the rest of your interviews.
All right, brother. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.